welcome to our brand new podcast, Ramped Up. My name is George Burrows, and with me is a good friend of mine, Julia.
Hi, my name is Julia Shenko. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, and we met in college, which actually we've just graduated, which is pretty insane. Both of us have been wheelchair users all our lives. I've used a wheelchair since I was 3, I think.
Yeah, roughly the same age as me.
Yeah, because obviously
Roughly the
before
same
the age of 3, you don't need a wheelchair, you just,
No, I
just use
was
a
in a
buggy.
stroller. I was in a
Exactly.
stroller until the age of 3.
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
can imagine the look some parents would get from seeing a 2-year-old or 3-year-old in their stroller.
Yeah. So 3 sort of, if you're disabled at birth, then 3 sort of the age when you get your first wheelchair. My first wheelchair was massive. It was like
Oh yeah.
I think my mum nicknamed it with throne or something. Because it was like twice the width of me.
Oh wow. Yeah, kind of the same thing for me. However, the worst part was, I think, for the first year or 2, I did not have great support in that wheelchair. I can tell that, because I looked back at pictures of me when I was younger, because in this massive wheelchair, not being supported, and you can just tell they didn't support me for that, for that long, like the progress of growing up when my spine shifted.
Yeah.
And you can just see, my back going this way.
We should probably explain, both of us have scoliosis. So just so you know, if you don't know, scoliosis is a condition, a mental spine curved. Mine looks really cool. You know how DNA looks?
I've seen it.
Like that.
I've seen it.
I love it so much. Like, it's just so satisfying to look at.
Although I think you have the milder, a little bit version of scoliosis, because you were caught quite quickly, I think, weren't you?
Yeah.
Because you had spine surgery and you've got a rod in. I think unfortunately was not caught early enough. And then they caught it too late. I mean, not caught it, but like they kind of, thought of the idea of surgery way too late in my life. And unfortunately, I'm at that stage where they can't do anything because it's detrimental to my life, basically.
Right.
There is a high possibility of infections and stuff going wrong. So for my, my peace of mind and my parents and my families, I've decided not to do it. But not to say that scoliosis is the worst thing in my life, because I do take, painkillers, and I've got a great supportive wheelchair. So to be honest, I'm living my life best of my abilities, really.
That's something that a lot of people don't seem to understand. The fact that despite the fact we're disabled, we are still alive and we are still capable of having a life. Yeah. I've not had that personally, actually. I've not had that personally when people are surprised, actually. I have had a lot of people tell me, oh, it's so inspiring that you're on the bus by yourself.
That's it. It's the whole oh, it's so inspiring. No, it's not. We're living our life.
I'm alive. I'm doing the same thing you are.
It's my life and I'm living in it every single day.
Yeah.
What is so inspiring about it? I don't know.
Yeah. It's not inspiring. I'm going to Sainsbury's to get some milk. Not inspiring.
Although I will say, probably the more comments I've heard about, oh, you're disabled, the fact that I can't do anything with my disability, is through family, unfortunately. And as messed up as it is, I still love my family to death. Like, if anything was to happen to them or anything happened to me, I'm sure they'll be there in a heartbeat. However, when you're so young and you hear those comments of, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. I don't know if you've had this, Joel, but to me, it kind of brainwashed me a little bit. And then once I entered secondary school, and college, like mainstream school, like more like teenage time, is when I put my head into it, and I was like, but why? And I started to kind of question the whole, but why can't I do this? But why can't I do that? And I think that's how my personality kind of came out, because anyone that has known me since a child could tell that I'm no longer something they've labeled me as like an emotional child, to being far more confident, and to be honest, I love it. I love the fact that I'm disabled now. I don't hide it anymore.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Being disabled is part of my identity. It's part of who I am. It's part of who I've always been. Part of who I always will be. That's actually something that I wanted to talk about. People praying for me. Don't. Okay, so I have had a bad experience with church. I'll admit that. It wasn't anything to do with my disability for me personally. And so I know it's maybe a bit biased against the church and stuff. But actually, when you think about it, I hate it for good reason. If a white person wants to go up to a black person and say, and was to pray, oh no, take this affliction of being black away, that's racist. That's very, very clearly wrong and should never happen. Actually, if you think about it, that's exactly what's happening to me. It's someone attempting to take away my identity, someone attempting to take away who I am, someone attempting to change what's not bad, And so I do really hate that, and it really gets on my nerves. And I think that actually a lot of people don't see ableism, they see racism, which is good. But it's only when you convert the situation to race instead of disability, when you convert it to race, then people go, oh, that's wrong. But until you do that, people don't see it as wrong. It's just.
Can I jump into that? I kind of feel like, especially someone like you, no offense, like I'm not being racist, I swear. What I'm trying to say is, if you were to speak out about, how something is wrong, as in like how you're treated is wrong, then I feel like for you, people would automatically label it as racism and not think of it as ableism, if that makes sense.
Actually,
so it's like, if you were told that, I'm bullied because I have a disability and people think I'm weaker or something, I feel like something like that could be placed upon racism, if that makes sense. And people just sweep that under the rug as racism and not ableism.
Actually, no, I disagree. I think the opposite. Because
I don't know that, because I'm not, I don't belong in that community. So it's just from what I've seen. I've seen people of color who have a disability have been, yelled at or screamed at because of their color of their skin, but yet, they were like, oh, but it doesn't matter because you're disabled. Do you know what I mean? Especially with autism or ADHD.
I found the opposite for me personally. I'm mixed race. My mum and most of her family is black. My dad and most of his family is white. I was talking to an aunt on my mum's side who talked about racism and whether I'd ever been affected by it. And I said, I could have been, but it's always been ableism. It's always been put under ableism or something to do with my disability rather than race. So, to the best of my knowledge, I've never experienced racism. It's always been ableism. I mean, if it is attached racism, you don't notice it because the main thing is ableism. So yeah, that's from what I found anyway.
For me, I've had situations, but like I wasn't aware that it was ableism. Maybe because one, I grew up in a house, in like a family where I was the only disabled person in my family, as in like with a physical, like you can see that I've got a disability kind of thing. And then I was kind of always told, oh, like if I can't go to a place, they've got a step or a ramp, or I've been told that I shouldn't be out because I'm disabled, stuff like that. They kind of labeled it as you just have to deal with it.
Mm.
Like don't fight it, don't argue with someone, just let it go. Let it go. And then when I was in school and I had something bothering me, and I would always bottle it up, not telling anyone. And then once it finally came out because I've had enough, people would be like, but why didn't you say anything? But I was, I was taught as a kid to keep it in because you're disabled, no one's going to hear you, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
why I've
might
got
as
2
well
points.
just not say anything.
Yeah. I wonder how much ableism there is, but we don't notice it because it's so normalized.
Maybe because we
It's a
also
bit
don't
like,
see it as a label anymore.
it's a bit like yeah. Oh yeah, it becomes so normalized. It's a bit like if you experience lots of trauma as a child, you might not recognize that as trauma because it's so normalized. It's sort of like that, where you don't notice it because it's so normal. You don't think it's out of the ordinary and you don't pay attention to it. The other thing I was going to say, I'm going to try and remember what I was going to say.
How I was always told to not speak about it.
Oh yeah, don't talk about it. That's led to a lot of issues now because with my mental health. Because I was always seen as the happy, smiley boy, the positive boy, the one who's, who just deals with everything. And so I dealt with everything, and I had to put on a mask to make very, very, very sure that no one would ever see me upset or hurt or anything. And so now that's messed up my mental health. I am trying to recover from that now.
Yeah. Can I go off of that a little bit? So for me in school, it was bad in terms of bullying. I'm not going to go too far into it. We might talk about that in another episode actually. But yeah, for me it was bullying. And because bullying got so bad, especially in secondary school, I kind of built an armor for myself where I kind of seemed like from the outside, people could think, oh, she's okay, she's happy, she's this, she's that. But then as soon as someone really pissed me off, or like a comment really got to me, is when I lashed out. And people were always so shocked that I would lash out because they've always seen me being this happy, bubbly person. And the bad thing is, us as a disabled community or disabled person, we are always labeled as being, happy about our lives constantly, this, that, and the other. But that's not always true. That's not always true.
And that's interesting you say that, because I feel like people either expect disabled people to be very, very miserable and take life, or they expect disabled people to love life. And it's weird how you have those 2 complete extremes, and everyone has a view, and it's very divisive, is that the word? Yeah, everyone is like, well, either you're happy or you're sad. You can't change between the 2. And they're very
you can't have emotions, apparently. You can't have emotions, apparently. Apparently.
Oh, so no. You have emotions. No, you have very strong emotions. But yeah, people see it as you have very strong emotions. You don't have mild emotions. You're either very happy about something, about life, or you're very sad about life. There's no middle ground.
See, and no one really saw those strong emotions unless it was my parents and my best friends that I've trusted with my life. Because let's be honest, being a disabled person, it's hard to trust someone. And not trusting in terms of, oh, don't mention that I've got this disability. I was proud that I was disabled. I was like, it's not a freaking secret anymore. I mean, I can't really hide it. It's not a secret. So it was mostly about the behind the scenes thing, the hospital appointments, the procedures, the pain. Like, I would not feel comfortable sharing that with someone right off the bat unless I really trusted them.
Oh yeah. And it's difficult to trust because you have lots of fake friends.
Oh yeah, I've talked to you about this actually when we were bowling the last week. I'll explain that in a minute, but you go.
Yeah, because there've been many times recently where I've teared up because for the first time in forever, possibly ever,
Yeah.
I've got actual friends, and it's like, are they actually friends? Or are they just going to desert me? Like,
Is it for show? Is it for show?
Yeah. Is it for show? Is it to make those friends in speech marks? Is it to make those friends look good among their peers? Oh, I'm tearing up now.
But also, oh, don't cry. But also, I feel like college was the first time that door was opened for me.
Oh yeah.
I finally felt, call me sappy, but free. It's the first time I felt free, not only with my disability, but also my feelings.
Yeah.
When I met you and a few of our other friends who we still keep in touch with, even though we've graduated, and we're still going to continue to talk because I love them all to death, honestly.
Same.
But like when I first met you, the first meeting we've had, and I always remember it, us talking about absolutely everything that is wrong with this world for disabled people. I remember you left that canteen and I just sat by a table and I just looked at the wall in front of me. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I went to my lesson afterwards and I looked at my friend and I could
not stop crying. I can see you crying. Don't stop crying.
I nearly cried with happiness for a good 30 minutes afterwards. It's like, there's a disabled friend. Like, I just met a disabled girl. Like, imagine. It's like, friends. Like, that's.
Like, no longer a stranger, a friend, not a stranger.
Yeah, but like, I'd only just met you for the first time. I was just like, so freeing to just, I think, yeah, it was just amazing. Wow. We're going to have to take a quick break because our Zoom is threatening to kick us off. So we will be right back in just a second.
Yes.
Hi, it's post-edit me, or editor me, I don't know. We're splitting this episode into, we did like an hour and a half just talking, and I've just finished, or nearly finished editing part 1 because it's going to be split over 2 episodes. So yeah, I will post the next episode when I can.